Question number 6. The dimensions of a rectangular prism are 4 feet by 8 feet by 3.5 feet. What is the maximum number of rectangular prisms that have a volume of 2 8/10 cubic feet will fit into the larger prism? So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to figure out the volume of our rectangular prism. So remember, we have our T-chart, rectangular prism. The base is a rectangle, so we use the formula, area of the base equals base times height, and the volume formula is the volume is equal to the area of the base times the height of the prism. Now this problem is giving me 4 feet by 8 feet by 3.5 feet. So you could use the formula, volume is equal to length times width times height, and multiply all three of them together and get the volume of the rectangular prism. Let's just say the first two are the base, 4 times 8, which gives me 32. Then over here I'm solving for volume, so if the area of the base is 32, I need to multiply by the third dimension, which we'll call the height, so 3.5. So we have 32 times 3.5. So we're going to need to multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. 0 placeholder. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Then we need to add. So we get 0. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 9 plus 1 gives me 11. And we need to go back and count our decimal places. We had to move the decimal to the right once, so we need to start at the right and move it to the left once. So we get 112 is going to be the volume of the rectangular prism. So that's going to be feet cubed. Now the question wants to know what's the maximum number of rectangular prisms that have a volume of 2 8/10 cubic feet will fit into the larger prism. So the way we're going to have to do that is we're going to need to take the volume and divide by the volume of the rectangular prisms that we're trying to put in and see how many of them are going to fit. So let's take the volume of 112 and let's divide it by 2 8/10. Remember, when you divide, your divisor cannot be a decimal, so you need to move your decimal over one place to the right, so you're multiplying by 10. Whatever you do to the divisor, you must do to the dividend, so you need to move your decimal one place to the right, and then make sure that you put your decimal into your answer. So let's see, how many times does 28 go into 112? Well, 25 is going to go into 100 4 times, so let's try 4. So the 4 needs to be above the 2 in the 112. 4 times 8 is 32. Carry the 3. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. And that, when you subtract that, you get 0. So we can't finish because we're not to our decimal yet, so let's bring down our next number to 0. 28 is going to go into 0 0 times. 0 times 28 is 0. And then we'll subtract and get 0. We're to our decimal, so we can stop. So we know the answer is 40 rectangular prisms will fit inside of the larger rectangular prism. So our answer is B.